So here we are. We just arrived at Gettysburg. It's 9 o'clock in the morning. We left at 4 o'clock this morning, and we just arrived at the area of the first day's battle. This whole trip is initiated by Joe. So Joe, what do you want to do here?
Just explore the battlefield again, like I did when we were kids, and I don't know, appreciate it more and
well,
enjoy the day.
Yeah, it's a beautiful day out here. It's October 23rd, and the leaves are turning, so we should get some nice photography. This here, a little out of sequence here, but this here is the railroad cut, scene of action on the first day. So we're going to start at the first day's battle. Good place to start. This is a famous monument to the 14th Brooklyn Regiment, obviously from New York. So this is not going to be an exhaustive study of every movement of the troops, but we're just enjoying ourselves here for a little tour of Gettysburg on a beautiful autumn day. So welcome to Gettysburg. We're here on the first day's battle, which really pretty much began right in the front of the picture there, where the statue is of a general on a horse. So there's McPherson Barn on the left. Very significant first day battle points of interest. So we'll see what this video does. We're just going to film and have some fun. So this is the monument to General Buford, the cavalry commander that first arrived on this spot. In the background is a monument to General Reynolds, 1st Corps commander, who was shot and killed very early on the first day of the battle. And right here we have cannon barrels. This one right here is the original barrel, the original cannon that shot the first shot of the battle from the Union artillery. It's pretty amazing that we have this piece of history right here in front of us. Look at this. This piece was the opening gun of the battle, fired from this spot under the personal direction of General Buford, July 1st, 1863. I mean, that is fantastic that we can literally touch this piece of history, as ugly as it was. And here's Joe driving the RV for the first time over here on Barlow's Knoll. There he goes, pulling it up. Actually, years ago, we have a video of him driving the van that we used to have over by Culp's Hill. And now, what? 20 years later, he's driving the Mini Winnie at Gettysburg National Battlefield Park. Amazing. Some things, the more they change, the more they stay the same. So here we are at Barlow's Knoll at Gettysburg, the extreme right of the Union line on the first day. And this is a unique spot here at Gettysburg where
over here.
an artist painted this mural. This is on Stevens Street in town. And this is the site of the last resistance of the Union as they were retreating on the first day from the right flank. But we'll try to give you a little bit of the mural, but the reflection is really killing it. And this line also broke. Confederates overran it, and these men retreated back to Cemetery Hill. But it's unique, this beautiful mural that is very difficult to see now that they put the protective coating on, which they really needed. This mural was very deteriorated a few years back, and they've cleaned it up, and they decided to protect it. But it affects what we can see. And we just found out from a local that the artist of this diorama painted himself into it, whose name I don't know at the moment, but that right there is the artist with the glasses. Pretty neat. I wouldn't have known that. So we had our lunch at Dunlap's. This is an old place from years ago. And they kind of declined, but it looks like they came back. The food was very good, and we're now going to head out back to the battlefield. Let's go to Seminary Ridge battlefield. And here we have the famous Lutheran Seminary here at Gettysburg on Seminary Ridge. And it was up in that cupola, up on top there, that General Buford went to look over the battlefield. And he was also looking for the 1st Corps, Reynolds Corps, to come up the Emmitsburg Road, and he was so happy when he saw them. But he held his ground here in this area for about 2 hours before the infantry arrived. Joey and I are going to go up in that cupola. That's our plan. That's now a museum. So we're going to go into the museum in a few minutes and hopefully get to the top of that cupola and take a look and see what General Buford, the terrain he was looking at. First, we're going to take a little walking trail that they have right here on the grounds, so we'll do that first. Hey, here's Joe studying the tablets, stop number 9, so I guess we're doing this backwards, but these are the temporary breastworks that the Union placed here when they retreated from McPherson Ridge, which are those beautiful autumn trees in the distance. And then they started building some breastworks here as they retreated to this point. And one brigade over here, Paul's brigade, was called to the right of the line, so they had to leave the breastworks and go to the right. They left this position, but this is the Union position. In the late afternoon of the first day of the battle, after they retreated from those woods in front, Confederates came right across those fields right toward them, pretty much mangled by the cannon fire from here, but eventually overran this position, and the Union retreated back to Cemetery Hill. So we're just continuing on this little walking trail, kind of a variation on a nature trail, but it's a historical trail. And here we have the story of the famous cupola and General John Reynolds. Oh, that's General Buford right there. And there's the story. So we've entered the Seminary Museum, Gettysburg Seminary Ridge Museum, and we booked a tour up to the cupola. So we're gonna take a look around here and then head up to the top. This museum opened just over 10 years ago. So our first visit here. We don't know what's coming yet, so we're looking forward to it. This exhibit is noting the contribution of the Daughters of Charity, founded by Elizabeth Ann Seton. These sisters came up from Emmitsburg, Maryland to help with the wounded here. I believe there's a stained glass window to them in the local Catholic church. And right behind me is a diorama showing one of the sisters in action, helping the wounded.
Nurses and doctors were in demand heavy. We could not think of sleep or rest during those trying days. Nights and days alike were spent in trying to alleviate the suffering of the wounded and dying.
Thank you.
Boards, we have some Roman numerals or match markings carved into the wood. Now those would have been used by the builders as they were moving the wood from the lumber yard here into our building to match them with the rest of the floorboards. We also believe a large majority of the brickwork that you see in front of you, as well as the roof above your heads, to be original as well. Still held in place at most of the joints by the original wooden pegs. Now here in front of you we have two gentlemen's portraits. On the left we have Brigadier General.
Oh, that's the lower one, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow.
This is the cupola.
That's pretty cool.
Wow. Okay. Amazing. Gettysburg. Wow, awesome.
So the first thing I like to do when we get up here is kind of go over our general directions to get everyone acclimated to where we're standing.
Was that Long Street Road, whatever it was, and they walk out the door and
Yep.
there you are.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing is, it's all the time, and they're just so taken back by all of the scale of it now that people don't really. I mean, they're just so used to it. Oh, it's just Gettysburg, and
Yeah, we live between Disney and
now
Hey, this is the attic of the cupola down here. Our tour guide is going to give us a little more info from here, and then we're going to head to our campsite. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, it's cool. Really, really nice.
Okay, we're ascending the largest observation tower here at Gettysburg National Battlefield Park. This is in Longstreet's position, and we're going to take a look from up on top. Quite a few steps. Okay, here we are. That's Little Round Top. Big Round Top. Joey. This is Joey. So this is the view from the tower on a beautiful autumn day, October 24th, my father's birthday. Looking at the round tops, and we'll sweep along. Peach Orchard is in the center of the picture here. And up the Emmitsburg Road. What a day. The famous peach orchard at Gettysburg. So it was right here on this fence about 20 years ago. We have a picture of Joe and Maria and Frank eating their pictures. And here's Joey at age 29 at the same spot, but no peaches this time. Wow. And here we have the famous Little Round Top at Gettysburg National Battlefield Park. And right now, in October of 2023, that area of the park is closed for restoration. So they're redoing the parking areas, the roads, the trails, and the vegetation, I think, to help prevent to restore what was there, because it's so heavily visited. So it's closed for about a year or two while they restore that area. So we will not be going up to Little Round Top today. But there it is. To the right is Devil's Den, which we can barely see in the distance. And we'll be heading there in a couple of minutes. And the famous Devil's Den. The kids had a lot of fun here in their childhood, climbing them on these rocks. I think every kid loves this. And there's one spot, I don't know if we're gonna find it today. We used to call it the Shark Tooth. And we always took pictures of the kids every time we came at the Shark Tooth, and Joe said he wants to do that, so we're gonna see if we can find it, but it's restricted movement here. I know there's fences and so on. We'll see how far we can go. So let's explore here in Devil's Den. Wow. This just brings us right back out again. No shark tooth in here. And here is some restoration at the top of Devil's Den. From the top of Devil's Den, scene of many childhood memories here. Had a lot of fun, and we still are. Well, we found a shark tooth, but I don't believe this is the true shark tooth from your childhood.
I think
But,
it is.
you think?
Area there.
Frank will know though.
Yeah, maybe somebody else. It kind of looks like it, but I remember like
You can go.
going in a hole a little bit.
When we were little, we did go under.
Maybe from the others. I'll catch up. And we have an invasion of ladybugs here on the RV. They're all over the area here. Look at all these ladybugs swarming around. So many ladybugs. Woo! Go ahead, guys. Oh. Wow. There's one on the camera here. Look at all these guys. Hey, little ladybugs. This is the Trossel barn. Still has the damage from a cannonball. That cannonball is in the museum. It was unexploded, and it's in the museum at Gettysburg. And this is a monument to Father William Corby of the Congregation of the Holy Cross, right here on Gettysburg Battlefield on Cemetery Ridge. And on the second day of the battle, he gave absolution to the men of the Irish Brigade very near this spot. You can just picture them kneeling here with their uniforms and their guns and bowing their heads. And right after that absolution, they went into battle in the wheat field. And for some, it was their last day here. The Pennsylvania Monument. And we're going to head all the way up to the top there. So let's go up to the top and take a look. Several buses pulled up. A lot of people interested in this monument. And the gate is open today, so let's go. Here we are at the top of the Pennsylvania Memorial, looking down Cemetery Ridge, the first Minnesota monument in front of us. Little Round Top and Big Round Top out here. And the RV. Take a look this way. Bright sunshine, it's about 4:30. Looking across the fields of Gettysburg. And here we're looking at the scene of Pickett's charge. That's the Cadore barn, the red barn in the center. That's where Pickett himself remained during the charge up to the Union lines here. And the charge reached this area. We're now making a trek up Powers Hill, a lesser known place at Gettysburg, but significant. A Union artillery position, important in repelling the Confederates on the morning of July 3rd. But this is a place where Joey and Ian and Paulie, they had a riot over here when they were kids. Found some junked abandoned cars, and they had a lot of fun with that. They did clean this area out a few years back, so we should get a pretty good view. In the past, it was totally wooded. but now they cleared some of it out to make it more like it was at the time of the battle. So we'll take a look. So if there's a hill in these parts, there are going to be cannon. And there were several batteries of Union cannon here, but when the children were little, we were here probably in the early 2000s, and there weren't cannon here at that time, just a monument. So what we found somewhere around here were these little cement bases right here, but they were covered in dirt and weeds, and we cleared some of them out, and we knew that those were cannon emplacement positions. And I wrote a letter to the preservation group when we came home, and I told them, you know, I know you're doing a lot, but if you get time, go over to Powers Hill and see if you can do some restoration there. And they did. I'm sure not because of my letter alone, but maybe it had a little influence. So here we are. Joe, you're back. Well, you had a lot of fun with your buddies.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
So we don't get a great view from here of the line of sight, but this is Powers Hill, significant on the morning of July 3rd, 1863. And right down in that field in here, that's where Joe and his friends found a couple of junk cars and had a good time there. It's now been restored. So a walk in these beautiful woods at Gettysburg. It's not all about the cannons and the battle. It's very, very beautiful country here. Rolling farms and hills and even mountains in the area, and beautiful forests. And the fall foliage just makes it explode. And the town is such a quaint little town. Still relatively quaint. A lot more here than the cannons. And here are the remains of the Union breastworks on Culp's Hill, right here where this little foliage is, walking along the lines on Culp's Hill. Very, very famous monument here, which shows the breastworks. 102nd and 78th, New York. On a beautiful autumn evening. And we're at the top of the tower on Culp's Hill. And we're looking at the town of Gettysburg. We're just strolling along here on East Cemetery Hill. It's about 6 o'clock at night. Very well preserved cannons with their emplacements. It's Culp's Hill in the sun there. Just taking an evening stroll. Finishing up our journey of the second day's battle here at Gettysburg. Still haven't eaten dinner yet. or lunch for that matter. Beautiful evening here tonight. And this will most likely conclude our tour here of the second day's battle at Gettysburg, July 2nd, 1863. So we're walking along Cemetery Hill now. This is our third day here on our tour. I'm going to look at a little bit of the third day's action, the major action of Pickett's charge. Cemetery Hill here. Really right behind us mostly. It's right across these fields that the Virginians and Pickett's brigade came up to the Union lines. We're standing at what's called the angle in the Union line. We're standing on the Emmitsburg Road, looking up at Cemetery Ridge, precisely where Armistead would have charged into the Union lines and overran a battery there, Cushing's battery, and he was killed, Armistead himself.
first opened in Boston. After a short tour of the East Coast, it arrived here in Gettysburg in 1913, just in time now to commemorate the 50th anniversary of the battle and the reunion of over 50,000 Civil War veterans, many of whom fought here in Gettysburg, and it's remained with us ever since.
All right, let's get some refreshments in the saloon. Here we go. A couple of hungry dogs coming in here. What'd you think of the cyclorama?
Yeah, it was very cool.
Very cool?
Yeah.
Really was.
Yeah, it's really well done.
What's your favorite part of the place so far? Anything favorite? Anything stand out?
Cemetery Ridge.
That
That's
was
probably
nice.
my favorite spot.
That was a nice walk. Pennsylvania Memorial.
What?
Pennsylvania Memorial. Is that
Oh,
up
yes.
there? You like that?
Pennsylvania Memorial.
All right, so let's get some grub. Let's see. Lots of stuff. Hold on. All right, here we go. Let's eat. Oh man, unfortunately the outhouse here is locked. There's a man in there, a little mannequin that complains that we're letting the flies in.
You got the door.
And this is where we have the old picture when the boys were little.
Well, he has the door permanently closed.
Is he in there?
So
What happened?
there'll be no flies forever.
Yeah, I guess he had enough. I don't see him. Is he in there? Oh yeah, there he is.
He's in there.
Yeah, he's to the left over here. I don't know if we can really see him though.